Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we? Salute every day, every day, every day. This bunch of tout Igbo tell aneme ihe na-ajụ ọpụsụkwa prọfesọ na-achị Anambra steeti nwa. What sort of rubbish ka na-ekiri ihe a Chineke ekwekwe n'ihe ọjọọ? What sort of inhuman treatment dị ife a? Ndị Anambra, all you know, that is what you are getting. More is coming. Okay, quite unfortunate. My phone piawa today. Yes, my phone piawa sir today. You can see I can no longer press it, and this phone I drawn in Nigeria or in China only. So I can't even fix it until I go back to China. And the problem is that the phone piawa mbenne can salute to Thomas Sankara today. So I'm not even angry that the phone piawa. Yes, I went to the Memorial Museum of Thomas Sankara. I went into his office. There is a kind of, I was not allowed to, nobody is allowed to film the office and his graveyard. I went into his office, I touched his seat. I felt his vision, his commitment. I was standing at exactly the place I were. And I discovered that that guy is a legend. His memory will live forever. So I went to his graveyard alongside the 12 comrades that were shot. Somebody is asking me, did I feel anything? I felt everything. I felt everything that my phone piawa. I felt everything feelable. So, Ibrahim Traore, you are doing very well, and I'm grateful. Ever since I came to Burkina Faso, there has been uninterrupted power supply. Uninterrupted power supply. A country as small as 23 million people. Uninterrupted power supply. You see, in this live stream, please, if you see me live stream, take like 5 minutes and look at who is talking. And look at the mood that I came with. And also observe whether I'm here for things like is feeding of chi. Kanyale bamba one day. You just come inside and begin to type on a womiwo. Gegodu munti malien ne wabana na yala gegodunti. Unubiora debe ditino ne bumali. Means like I'm talking to people who doesn't listen. Okay, Rose Mweze, let me start from you. I'm trying to go live on Instagram. I can't go live because the phone is bad. So what do I do now?
Good evening,
What do I do?
Mazi.
I was commanded to go live on Instagram today. Maybe my destiny helper is waiting for me there. I will never neglect such instruction. Let me go with another phone. So I will appreciate a phone gift. Well, let me call somebody. Let me call somebody that can buy this phone. Let me call somebody. Let me call. I need a phone. Nah, coming to the live stream. Be on a live streamer, and
Okay.
I need. Yes, I need something.
Okay. In TikTok?
Yes. Okay, Rose, you can unmute now and speak to me.
Mazi, good evening, sir.
Good evening. You said something that I brought you up.
Yes, I was asking if you've heard of Wu Sabat. That your teachings are a kind of similar.
Wu Sabat, where are they based?
Sabat. I think they are foreign anyway. Black. I think they are black. They are black men. Black American. I think.
Can you summarize their message for me? Let me learn.
No, as in your teachings are just kind of similar. I don't know how to come and start to summarize. They are just a bit, as in, like, I've been in your live stream for like a while now, so I've learned a lot of things from you, and then I can see similarities in your teachings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wu Sabat. I'm trying to look them
Perhaps,
up.
yes.
Oh, is it this brother?
Yes.
Okay. I've seen a couple of his videos.
Okay.
Okay, but because you mentioned, I'll pay closer attention. Patience, I greet you. I'll pay closer attention. Then maybe next time I'll give you summary of what I found out.
Okay. Thank you. That would be nice.
Thank you. There you go. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I would need those in China to tell me who is coming back soon. I need to give this phone so you guys can fix it. I can't fix it in Nigeria. You guys can fix it in Nigeria. You guys can fix it in China. Hold on. Okay, it's honor. It's honor. See here. See here. Let me put it this way. Okay. Let me bring you up. Trenzy, will you buy new one for me? It's Honor 70 actually, or Honor 80. Is it 80 or 70?
Odogunam.
Nna m ọ bụ na ị ga-ego m
Good
ọzọ,
evening,
ego m
sir.
ọzọ, biko kene. Oh.
Phone do cheap, but the problem with that, it's send here with the problem.
Oh, ka ebe ị nọ?
And more na do too much busy like.
Ka ebe ị nọ?
No, na Dubai.
Okay. Ọ bụ na igote the phone, ngwa nwa m nwoke ọbịa nata gị o wetalụ m.
Anyway, my phone no na Liberia, but that one bụ iPhone, I think 16, right? I have sent it for my woman, but I like it. So chọrọ igotere ya another one. So ka m gwa ya, ọ bụ ga-esendere ya na Lagos. Ọ bụ iwe anybody ga-anata ya na Lagos, ka mara whether ọ ga-esend ya na Lagos, ka somebody nata ya ebe ahụ. Because ọ nọ na Liberia. Ọ just nata.
Mụnwa nọ Burkina Faso now. Ọ bụ na
Na ya pụgo Echemiga, is it Singapore? This Ekega. Russia, yeah, something like that.
adị m anọ ofu ebe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if they can bring it to Lagos, it's still good. My
Lagos
people.
ga-do easier. Mụ na ya ga-akpa ya this evening.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, sir.
If there is anything, just
You
chat
send the
me.
message now, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now.
PA, take note in case Lotala our brother.
Onye bụ PA gị or nke a nọ na Nakita?
No, they have taken note already.
Okay.
Okay, Kwamuntu,
Yes, what's up, Mazi?
I'm fine. You said something about Abraham and Chaldea.
Yeah, bro. You need to pay attention to the text. You will quicker get my point because we can synchronize on etymology and how important etymology is for us as African people, yeah, bro? You know this. So even when you and I became friends in the beginning, I come out to give you a message. You need to go back to Genesis 13 because what they did, the scribes, yeah, what they did. There's a difference when you're talking theology with the text and when you're talking geography. Now, what they did when you reach to Genesis 13 and they're talking of Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah, that's biblical literature. Yeah, they're using reduction, retrospective anchoring, yeah, bro? Now, you'll realize that Lot, by his own words in the text, he's saying when he leaves Chaldean, he's heading up to Tel El Hammam, or what is called Kikah, because he make mentions of Kikah. Yeah? When you check Kikah in the Hebrew that they have given us, now I know you'll have to check it in your original setting, but based on what they give us, they say Kikah is a plain. A plain will describe there's reeds, yeah, there's agriculture going on. The people in the text, they are known to change desert into grass. Now, for that to happen, you need rainmakers now. Yeah, bro? You need rainmakers to make that possible. So the text is expressing that whilst the Bible wants to keep you under their theology, their doctrine, to make you focus on the character, yeah, your attention span is going to be in the south. You're talking Chaldean in the desert, nothing is going there. But when the text is talking about the place where the character is supposed to be, where Lot and Abraham, they left Chaldean and they headed to Yebo, it's talking about Tel El Hammam, which even when we're talking about the northern kingdom, it's in the north, it goes to Umri. Because in Umri, in 1 Kings, the text speaks of Umri. When you go to the Syrian text, they refer to Umri as, they will label it as the first true king of Israel. Jehovah's, which is Bit Umri, the house of Umri, and his son Ahab. Yeah, which the information, the theology, they are labeling it as the northern kingdom, Israel, which is the city of what we know today as Palestine, which Umri had built Samaria. It was what they call Jerusalem. Now, when you pay attention to the text, it's the northern kingdom versus the southern kingdom. Yeah, but the problem is, Mazi, Genesis 13, Genesis 14, Genesis 19, they're talking about the 19th Egyptian dynasty, the 21st Egyptian dynasty, the 22nd Egyptian dynasty, and the 25th Egyptian dynasty period. All within that text.
Okay. Are you from South Africa?
No, it's me, first time magic, Yakanan.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, Teda.
Yes, first time, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sipping a few beers, so,
You sipping a few beer because
yes.
you are sounding like someone who is sipping a few beer.
Yes. Okay. Remember the ancestors, they can operate at any time, eh?
Yeah,
That's what connects us. That's what connects us, Mazi, as a people, beyond titles.
Exactly. Now, let me say this one for the interest of the diasporan brothers. Sincerely, I don't care to know what they said about Israel now. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I don't care to know what they documented about Israel. I only care to know the actual history that transpired. I don't consider the Bible a historical book. I consider it a literature book that contains some crucibles of history. And for that reason, I don't give much energy to that again, because I have mastered their art of manipulation. And for that reason, I don't want them to win any longer. I want to win them. The only way I can win them is to document whatsoever that is left of the glory of our ancestors. Because, for example, I remember when they told us that Daniel saw the writing on the wall which he interpreted to Nebuchadnezzar. And the writing reads, Menemene Tekelparsin. If you've been to South Africa, you discover that that language is actually South African language. Menemene Tekelparsin. Till today, the people in the Southern Cape still speaks that language. But the pain in my heart is this. And our people are so taking this Bible as if to say it's a standard information. I am done with their lies. And that is why they told us in the book of Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, that this book of the law will not depart from my mouth, but I will meditate in it day and night. Brother, if I meditate in that book day and night, I wouldn't have time to study African history. So I am saying that this book of the law will depart from my mouth so that I can focus my energy on the stories of my ancestors. Yes, I have a very vast knowledge of the Bible, and as a seminarian, I learned every bit of it. I can convince you with the Bible, but it is high time we started facing reality. Let us go back to our drawing board and begin to tell our African stories from the lenses of our African brothers and sisters. For example, someone from Nigeria, Igbo land precisely, the Biafran region, does not know that there are Igbo brothers who are enslaved in Barbados, Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago, Guatemala, Suriname, Cabo Verde, Brazil, including those that had been slaughtered in Argentina, Ecuador. And it will pay me well to channel my energy, teaching them of what truly transpired, how our ancestors lost their territory, instead of channeling my energy reciting what Abraham did with Lot, which can be traced to be literal statements or allegories. So instead of spending my energy discussing that which adds no food to my table, it's better I focus. Now let me correct this. There are Igbo people in Equatorial Guinea who went there during the Spanish labor transition, and they are called the Bioko people. That is the right way to put it. Currently, there are about 800,000 to 1 million. So they are significant. So we must always remember to put them in our intercession. So today, I was directed to go to Instagram. I was actually directed to go to Instagram, and I just turned on camera and I am live on Instagram now. And the thing is this, I usually don't come to the live streams on Instagram. And that has made many of my followers to always ask, where am I? But today, I am going to see what I can achieve here in Instagram. So I'm channeling my energy more on Instagram. But I will also respect those that are in TikTok. But I am going to say this, TikTok, you guys are hijacking my attention too much. And very soon, maybe I will delete my TikTok app to focus more on my Instagram family. Upe. So, yes, Igwe Meskana, I am still here in Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso.
Mazi, can I say something?
Okay.
What you're saying is true, eh? And you know, I've been putting in as much as I can there. And this is why I kinda come to you for help, because for me, from my perspective, Mazi, you hold the key to ending the argument between the West Africa and South Africa. You hold the key to bring us together as one. So that's why I kinda come to you to help. But I understand what you're saying. And your journey
Remind me
is
your
yours.
country again. Remind me your country now.
Trinidad.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so I've been putting in the work here to showing, you know, but the arguments is going on TikTok and the stuff that you've been saying, and when you're teaching, yeah, you hold the key to end the argument to unify us, yeah, as a people. Because, and this is the thing, and this is why I come back to, you know, I get what you're saying, you know, but it's like it's like me alone, Mazi, you know, it's like I'm alone fighting them. Because I remember when me and you was talking, you told me like, bro, the way how they have the system in the Caribbean is like a disrespect, how they mix it with the religion, yeah, man? Remember when you told me that, yeah? And I was like, and I agreed with you, you know? And just, yes, just when I hear the things you're saying, it's like, and I'm learning along the way, it's like, oh, Mazi has the key to end the war, you know, and bring us together. Because from when I see it, Mazi, they want to annihilate all of us. So when you had messaged me the other day and you said, bro, they're annihilating us up in the south, I already resonated with what you were saying, because me and you saw that from in the beginning, you know. So I'm saying it reached a point now that to them they don't care Nigeria, so they want to annihilate all of us, You know what I'm saying? And based on everything, you hold the key. For me, that's just my personal view. Yeah, you hold the key to end a lot of the arguments that's going on, to unite us as a
Okay.
people, to show the ones who's compromised, etc. So
Yeah, the people
that's
in
how it goes.
Instagram are really angry with me, and I love the fact they are expressive. They are saying that Mazi does not come to Instagram quite often, and I don't post on Instagram quite often. And they have been begging me to take it serious, and I'm not taking it serious. And okay, let me say this: it's not like I'm not taking it serious. I am cooking something, and I am cooking something. The thing is this: I sincerely will conquer Instagram in the shortest now. If I channel 2 months energy on Instagram, I will conquer Instagram. Yes. If I channel 2 months energy on Instagram, 60 days challenge, I will conquer Instagram. But the thing is this: the time has come when I take record of what has been happening. I always tell myself, thank you. I tell myself I am trying. You guys may not understand. But you see, doing this is not always easy. People often wonder how, okay, they said I should always post on Instagram. Okay, PA, take note. Henceforth, channel every energy on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. Now, for my brother who is saying that I hold the key of uniting the North to the South, yes, I would say, yes, I understand what you mean. I nearly went to jail in South Africa for making a teaching that I titled The Conquered Sperm. And the day I was making that teaching, I think it's July or June 2025, the last time I was at South Africa. I was at Richards Bay at KwaZulu Natal, and I was teaching about the origin of the madness that our South African brothers are exhibiting, that the origin of their conquered mentality did not originate now. Oh, Atalan Kid from Uganda, I see you. It started from way back. And the recent study we have with epigenetics has taught us that trauma is transferable to generations. So the South African brethren who are disgracing the Black brotherhood and sisterhood are actually not doing that with their clear consciousness. There is a trauma in their blood which was transferred through DNA to them. This very trauma is a colonial trauma which was engraved into their DNA by the colonial invaders. If you are paying attention, I hate to address these people as colonial masters. They are master to none. These people are the devil who came to kill, to steal, and to destroy. So I always call them the colonial invaders. I always call them the colonial intruders. If you go to South Africa, some of the South African waitress we be bowing down, greeting a light-skinned Bua guy and be saying, Master, Master, Master. There is a place in Richards Bay where originally the indigenous black melanated people of South Africa are not permitted to come during the apartheid era. It was a reserved area for the white colonial invaders. And I was at that place. This time around, anybody can go there now. But this conquered mentality is still operating in most of our South African brothers. But in the whole of Africa, there is this tribe in Africa that has defied fear. They are practically rebels. They are so belligerent that they resist oppression to the barest minimum. This tribe is the Igbo tribe, the Igbo nation. Not because I am Igbo, but an Igbo man has zero fear for you. The Igbo man or woman has zero fear for even if you are the one that employed him. Then they've translated this resilience to other people living with them. And that is why Nigerians are so confident. Now, the Nigerian citizens are the most fearless of all nations. Nigerian citizens, every country on earth knows that an average Nigerian is not scared of you. We have this confidence that is top-notch. Now, do you know the problem? For each place we migrate to in search of greener pasture, due to the latchkey and delinquency perpetuated by our political juggernauts, we always carry that resilience, perseverance, fearlessness, bravery, boldness. Now, the only problem happening in South Africa is this. The Nigerians have started influencing the South Africans to be so bold. The colonial invaders know that this is a threat if allowed to linger, because very soon the Nigerians who are now crossbreeding with the South Africans are now giving birth to offsprings who will break the stereotype, who will break the trauma, who will break the fear syndrome, who will break the demure. They know that these new offsprings are so confident that they don't even care whose us is God. So they speak to you boldly, even though you are the prime minister, even though you are the president. And the white invaders, the pink men in South Africa, knew that if this population continue to grow, say 20 years to come, we will have a South Africa which has interbred so much with Nigerians that they no longer are scared. They are no longer scared to ask you to demand for their right of inclusion. In 2020, October 10, the Nigerian youth defied modern revolution and stood out in a protest that they called EndSARS. The federal government of Nigeria openly massacred Nigerian youths by sending down the military to open fire on them to break the spirit of revolution, because Nigeria would have been fixed in 2020. The revolution of 2020 would have disintegrated the so-called country called Nigeria. Official, thank Alpha Charlie Kilo, you can send the message. When the only reason they opened fire on the youth is this: if the Nigerian government allowed the EndSARS protest to continue, Nigeria would have disintegrated into many nations. They saw that the protest is going beyond their presumption. The only way they would halt it was to open fire and massacre very good number of youths. Until today, the Nigerian government is still denying their involvement in the Lekki Tollgate massacre. But do you know the most painful part of this? This same youth who saw the government of Lagos State lie blatantly are still telling me to vote APC. This same youth who lost their lives, the lives of their loved ones, whose willpower to revolt was almost crushed, because I am telling you, the only reason the army opened fire, Nigerian army, I hear you people always arrest somebody that tell you the truth. I am up for arrest this time around. The only reason Nigerian army is lying through their teeth that they did not open fire, that they fired blank armor, is because they were afraid of revolution. This is the dirtiest country that I've ever seen in this 21st century. We are a sad generation with a happy picture, whom are easily distracted with filters in our latest smartphones. The other day, I saw some of our activists fighting amongst ourselves. Shame, we are me agbada. Now, somebody is saying the epigenetically transferred fearlessness has not helped them subdue immigrant Fulani. Let me answer this. He's trying to debunk what I said about the Igbos. Take it to the banks. If not for the existence of the Igbo in Nigeria, the Fulani cattle rearers with their vision of the OIC would have taken over Nigeria since. I said it to you without apology. The only reason Nigeria is not yet Islamized is because the Igbos exist. If you hate me for my truth, let my truth choke you. I owe you no apology. In fact, the only people that have the ability to say no in this country, the only people that have the boldness, that have the balls to say no in this country, has always been the Igbos. Listen, you don't know why the army always come for Operation Python dance. Watch out. Anytime the army raids southeast, headsmen will attack southeast. The only reason they raid us first is to disarm the youths, so that when they invade, we will not have any ammunition to defend ourselves. But regardless, we always find a way to reinforce. All die, not die. The gateway tech, we die only but once. The only tribe with the boldness, and that is why I'm saying this on camera, there is still a mistake that we are making. Our Igbo brothers must find a way to make peace with our Ijaw brothers. An average Ijaw man sees the Igbo man as a betrayer, and I will tell you why. I think I've made this teaching 2022 during the Biafra Memorial of May 30th. You must give credit to Isaac Adakaboro. I don't discuss history with children, and I don't discuss history with emotion. You must give due credit to Isaac Adakaboro. I am apologizing that we misunderstood Isaac Adakaboro. And out of anger, remember, he's a young man. He acted out of emotion. And he joined the enemy. Imagine if Ikemba Nnewi understood the vision of Isaac Adakaboro. Then the secession would have started earlier. But every of our heroes have their mistake. The mistake, one of the mistake of Ikemba Nnewi, the only mistake he made, I repeat, the only mistake he made was that he did not understand the vision statement of Isaac Adakaboro earlier enough. I repeat, the only mistake Ojukwu made was not understanding Isaac Adakaboro earlier enough. That was the only mistake Ikemba Nnewi made. Then there is one only mistake that Isaac Adakaboro made. Remember, I told you, I have told you their strength. I am now telling you their weakness. The only mistake Isaac Adakaboro made was to compromise his standard because he felt betrayed by our Igbo counterparts. Chinua Achebe said something The truest test of integrity is in its blunt refusal to be compromised. Professor Chinua Achebe. The truest test of integrity is in its blunt refusal to be compromised. So Ojukwu made the first mistake. Adakaboro made the second mistake. So this is what I expected the Igbo brothers to do. Oh, Ojukwu have made his mistake. Adakaboro has made his mistake. Let mistake cancel mistake. Mistake cancel mistake. Let us all both unite and fight our common enemy. You see, the common enemy of Africa is religion. Be it Christianity or Islam, anything religion is the common enemy. That is the cause of 99% of the problem we have in Africa. If we can make amends, I was speaking to one of my Hausa brother who is a good Muslim. Remember what I said? A good Muslim. I have my reason. And he told me that he is not in support of the killings. And I said, okay. And I now asked him, as an Hausa man, are you still observing your indigenous culture? He said no. Basically, the Islamic culture from Arab has displaced their indigenous traditions. Let me give you example. In Nigeria, we have public holidays that recognizes only religion that came from the West. None of the public holidays acknowledges the spiritual festivities in Nigeria. For example, in Nigeria, we are giving public holidays on Christmas Day. He said, we are giving public holidays on Salah, Easter, Ramadan. None of these holidays was about Africa. It is either about Rome or about Saudi Arabia. Stay with me and understand my point. The problem I have is most of us are fanatical. And fanaticism blocks critical thinking. There is never a day that the Yoruba brothers are doing Isheshe and Nigeria declared a public holiday. There is never a day the Igbo people are doing Iwaji New Yam Festival and Nigeria declared a public holidays. The Igala brothers, the Nupe, the Wagi. So which means we are only observing the colonial imposed festivities. I love this question. I think I'll bring her up to ask me this question directly. That is to say, all the public holidays in Nigeria is tied to a foreign imposed religion. None is about Africa. Here I am in Burkina Faso. They have May 15th every year as their traditional day. So all the public holidays we observe is either for Rome or for the supposed Jerusalem or for Mecca. None is for Africa. In Nigeria, we don't have Eri Day. We don't have Oduduwa Day. We don't have Idu Day. We don't have Oromila Day. We don't have any public holidays for the Ndiche or the Orishas, regardless of the nation. But the problem is this: we have public holidays. Now, somebody asks, why do I refer to the Yorubas as brothers? You see, that my brother betrayed me does not erase the blood tie I hold with him. The Igbos still share blood tie with the Ife Yoruba. Mazidibia fan page. Take corrections and listen. You see, the fact that you don't know history does not negate the truth. That you are ignorant of history does not invalidate the truth. That the Igbos still share blood relation with the Ife people. I told you one of the closest connection is Oduduwa and Obatala. Take it to the banks. I have made an open challenge. If there is any historian that is debunking my assertion, call me for a debate and I'll prove to you that Obatala and Oduduwa is the direct linkage the Igbo people share with the Ife people. Yes, if not for colonialism, we will still have so many things in common with the people of Ife. Now, so many of our elders, out of their selfish political interest, sowed discord amongst these brethren. Sorry to say this, late Sir Awolowo contributed immensely to this discord now. Now, you can't blame Awolowo without blaming Nnamdi Azikiwe. But the truth is this: if you know your history, you will know that for us that are Dibia, we know that there are traceable ancestry which the Igbos, ancient Bo people, share with the Ife people, including Obatala and Oduduwa. Now, that is to say, if Ewu is goat in Igbo land and Ewure in Yoruba, if Enu is Ono, if Eti is Inte, if Aba is Abo, if Abati is Aboti, if Okute is Okuta, then our progenitor Obatala Osereshi has a key linking us to Ife. In fact, I know of the deity of Sangongon that Okuku Alusi Anabo Sangongon Bunani Igbo Kesi Buji Ebeva. That is how Afa and Efa are the same thing. But you see, the greatest strategist used by the British is divide and conquer. For the British to weaken our bond, they have to sow so much discord amongst us, even knowing fully that these people share the same ancestry. That is why till today, someone from a gala, someone from Urobo, Ishekiri, Eja, Ikwere Iwuroha, Igbo are fighting over their ancestry. Do you know why? Because if these people living down south know that they are of the same ancestry, including the Idoma people, then we will take this horn and blow for change. But you see the truth. Some of our elders, due to their political affiliations, wouldn't want to acknowledge that including the ancient Idu kingdom, the Aboriginals settling there, alongside the Ogiso people and the Eshan, are all same family. Now, I have told you people, it is the same people that wrote the Holy Bible that also wrote the Holy Quran. So they map out. Okay, let me reiterate what I just said now. The same people that wrote the Bible wrote the Quran. You can argue with your ancestors. But let me show you one linking fact. In Christendom, the covering of the body is seen in the Catholic nun. Now, I can show you how the covering of the Catholic nun is identical with the hijab. Because it was written in the same manuscript. The same manuscript. The same manuscripts. I don't have a clearer picture, but let me show you this one. This is a hijab. This is the dress code of a Catholic nun. You can make out the information with anything you want to make out of it. I am currently in Burkina Faso for the person asking. What am I trying to say? The problem of Africa has been religion all along. If Africa evicts every of these foreign religion, we'll be okay. I am currently in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. This is the ancient Maliki Empire, where King Abubakar left his throne trying to discover America. I don't know if you've heard of it before. King Abubakar II left his throne and equipped 2,000 boats in search of America. Now, he left his throne for a man called King Mansa Musa. And the Mansa Musa went into Mecca for Umrah and the Hajj. When he passed Egypt, he caused inflation because gold was too much, as he traveled with 400 camels laden with gold. Now, when King Mansa Musa entered Mecca for Umrah and Hajj, the Arabia stood in awe of the gold he came with. And they said they need a taste of whatsoever that is in this land. Now, before Christianity began to enslave us, mind you, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. The Arab invaders has been enslaving Africa for at least 1,000 years. Do you know? So yes, the Arab invaders has been dealing with your ancestors for more than 1,000 years, at least 1,000 years. In fact, all the northern part of Africa, the indigenous aboriginals has been displaced by the Arab invaders. In North Africa, there was an indigenous tribe called Baba. It is from this tribe that this word barbarian came from. Where are the Baba people today? Most of the Baba people have lost their life to the Arab invaders. The Arab invaders has displaced most of them, beheaded most of them, and the few that escaped their sword ran into other tribes. But someone in Africa is still telling me with confidence that religion came for peace. We later saw the letter of King Leopold. Every evidence is pointing Africa to do one thing. Some people were even angry when Morocco said that they are not Africans during the last World Cup, 2022 World Cup. The Moroccans said that they are not Africans, that they celebrate their winning not for Africa, but for the Arab world. And many people are angry that Morocco said it. But Morocco didn't lie to you. Now, every great nation today are careful with religion. In China, you can go to jail for teaching a minor about this religion. In China, you can go to jail for teaching a minor that Jesus died on the cross for you, or that Prophet Muhammad is the only true prophet. You can go to jail for saying that in China. The Japan all of you are clapping for today was was in the condition of Africa years back. The Japan everybody is celebrating today we are just like Africa until one empire came. We call them the Tokugawa shoguns. I'm going to tell you about a dark history now. The Tokugawa shogunate are the reason Japan is excelling in the world today. They did a religious reform, massacred every bigot. Eons, you listen to history, not with emotion. If the Tokugawa shogunates did not do this in Japan, Japan will be building the biggest church auditorium, just like Nigeria. I saw many of your daddy geos competing who will build the biggest, largest church auditorium in the world. Empty vessels. And that is why I'm telling you that for Africa to be great again, many of us have to die for Africa to be great. You can screen record this. I said for Africa to be great again, many of us have to die for Africa to be great. This is a painful reality. Sometimes I look at our youth and I ask myself, is it these people that I am going to revolt with? Bunch of youths who are not concerned about the reality of today. Headsman is in our bush and you are doing TikTok challenge. Aya pichi pichi, aya pichi pichi, aya pichi pichi, aya pichi pichi, aya pichi pichi. And that is one of the reasons I said that democracy can never heal Africa. The greatest destruction to Africa is democracy. Let me give you an example. Let me say it on camera. I will bet you that even if Peter Obi wins and become the president, it will be too hard for him to solve Nigeria problem. Why? Because the only thing that can solve Nigeria problem will be a benevolent dictator or a benevolent tyrant. I repeat, the level of decay in Nigeria, democracy in its full glory will never salvage Nigeria. Like, let us, you know what is democracy, right? Before the president executes certain order, he will need to call some panel of some unrepentant criminals in the name of senators and House of Representatives, that they will digest the bill he wants to pass into law. That can never save Nigeria. We will need a benevolent dictator, a benevolent tyrant whose heart is very dark yet green, who will give order without listening to your emotion, even though it will affect him later. Because to do what's right, you have to be stable and give up that which you desire most. Thomas Sankara, of blessed memory, slashed down his salary to $450. He said, it is better for us to have drinking water for all than champagne for few. When I look at those sitting in the Senate in Nigeria and the House of Representatives, I already know that Nigeria can never be good. In 2006, the then EFCC boss brought out a list of about 6 persons that are the most corrupt in the country. One of the persons he mentioned in that list is the current president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These are not my word. These are the word of the ex-EFCC boss as of 2006. One of the names in that list is Orji Uzor Kalu, who is a sitting senator in Nigeria. Now, do you know the problem? That EFCC boss also counted the current Senate President Godswill Akpabio, as one of the most corrupt persons in Nigeria. I don't know if you're understanding the gist. The gist is tilting. Now, fast forward to 2026, 20 years later. The same EFCC boss is now serving as a national security advisor to the same man he flagged as one of the most corrupt in the country. This is what religion can make someone to do. They will tell you that they have repented, that he that is in Christ is a new creature. Old things has passed away. Now, that is to say, the most corrupt citizen as at the year 2006 is actually the then EFCC boss. Because if he can stoop so low to work for the people he called corrupt, he's more corrupt than them. Nuru Ribadu. The fear of death is the beginning of cowardice. I always announce that I am traveling, and I will tell you the international airport I'm transiting at. Reason is this: if my truth will warrant for you to wait for me at the airport to arrest me, so be it. But the irrefutable truth is that this country is in the hands of criminals. And do you know the pattern? Let me tell you why Nigeria will never be well. The same people in power are recruiting their boys who are loyal to them to wait for their turn. And by virtue of godfatherism, they will still transfer to them. Today, the incumbent governor of Anambra State opened his wide mouth and say in a campaign at Ebonyi that progressives are working together. Do you know why Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo can boldly say this? His children are all in the UK. So which means even if the invaders come to kidnap somebody, his children are no longer to be seen. If we make a law that all our politicians must show their children and they must reside in Nigeria, that will be a first step to salvaging Nigeria. The second law will be that no elected official will go outside Nigeria for medical checkup. And if they hear, whether through gossip, that you walk into any hospital outside of Nigeria for checkup, you will be impeached. Then the Nigerian healthcare system we develop overnight. Today, I saw a news that the incumbent president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency, what is excellent about this? That he's trying to borrow $5 billion again from Abu Dhabi. $5 billion. Is he for Eba? Is he for Gary? Is he for Dodo? Why borrow $5 billion? Why borrow $5 billion? Now, this is the most painful. TikTok, Instagram, the live stream is about to shut down and I'll come back again. I don't know what is happening. Instagram have a number of hours you stay live and it will shut you off. Why borrow $5 billion? But we removed subsidy. Then IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is telling them that it's not advisable. Imagine a devil, IMF, the known devil, is now advising President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that his action is not honorable. For the devil, IMF, to advise Tinubu means that they know. Imagine when the devil begin to advise you. Because the devil of all devils is the International Monetary Fund. Now the question becomes, when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? It's only in Nigeria that we have SAS, Special Anti-Robbery Squad, Tiger Base. We have ICPC, Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, and the EFCC, Economic Financial Crime Commission. And they are working. But they only work when a young youth hack into the cyberspace and do what they call Yahoo Yahoo. That is the only time they work. But they can't work to fish out these criminals. The most pitiable persons in my lifetime that I've seen is the Nigerian soldiers. The Nigerian soldiers whose salary cannot feed their family comfortably for 1 week will still be used to perpetuate this evil if the youth begin to protest. That is the most pitiable, gullible entity I've ever seen. Obey the last command. You are a soldier. You are on arms. You know that your son has not eaten this morning. You know that your wife has been asking you for ordinary 20,000. But you've planned your salary. And it's not enough. But they will still tell you to shoot on youth protesting for your own good. You will still go ahead. And I ask, if not for conditioned reflexes, how can you be this insensitive to reality? One day you, a serving soldier, we opened fire upon your own son, who came out to protest the latchkeys and delinquency of the country called Nigeria. That is when you understand the Igbo adage that says, na akan sega balagono. Conditioned reflexes. When I'm telling you people about programming, you think programming is only in religion. You think programming is only in religion. You can die for the wrong cause, thinking you are patriotic. Hear me and hear me well, O ye brothers in arms. You can die for the wrong cause. The only thing you can get is 21 gun salute. Then they will use the flag and cover you. Your wife will be lonely. Within 3 weeks to 1 month, they will blow the big one, she will leave the barracks. They will publish part 2 order, signaling that the quartermaster has issued that house to another person. And you think you died for the right cause. Then, in the land of the dead, if there are reality there, you will weep, but your weeping means nothing, because you didn't listen when I was telling you. The big will blow. Baroka dezuwa megida. Pam 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 pam. Pam 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 pam. General salute. Present arms. Ijebego buni ijebego. You are gone. But I'm begging you with everything in me. You will never forget that I told you this. Fear is the first bullet that killed a coward. We must continue to remind you that this nation is walking in the path of doom. When Tough King was singing, he said something that basically we are practically doomed. You guys did not understand it. Britain don't want Nigeria to be good. From the inception of the amalgamation of this nation, from the day George Goldie sold this country for 868,000 pounds, this country was programmed to fail. Arise, he that sleepest. Very soon, a reality TV show will come to distract the youth that some kidnappers are beheading teachers who did only bet the right thing, being a teacher. And let me say something again. Let it be on record that I told you this. For people saying that 2026, 2027, Nigeria will be on fire. Nothing will happen 2027. Did you hear what I just said? Nothing will happen 2027. The format has been programmed. Nothing. See, Nigerians are emotional animals who has been programmed as a dog. We have been tamed to speak of possibility every 4 years. But the painful reality is this. Come 2027, nothing. Upe. Nothing will happen 2027. The only reason something will happen if the youth decide today that we are tired. Upe, nothing will happen. Nothing. I came out in this life and I saw the likes of the Cameroonian president becoming president. He is still the president today. Do you know why? The president of Cameroon is still the president because it is responsible to the French interest. But President Ibrahim Traore, who is working for the interest of his people, has made Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, to be traveling all over Africa, claiming to be a good guy. Oyi Emmanuel Macron, respondez s'il vous plaît. You are nothing good for Africa. So stop this pity party and go home. The Sahel Alliance has come to stay. Today, I was touring the city of Ouagadougou. I went to the presidential square. I saw people who are willing to change. I saw young boys who are volunteering to make Burkina Faso great again. And I said, when will this spark of consciousness be ignited in Nigeria? I was moving about Ouagadougou. I see youth who swore not to break traffic light. Not because the police is there, but because they want their country to be organized. I see volunteers. Let me shock you. President Ibrahim Traore gave an ultimatum that no religious activities will be done in the open, be it Christian or Islam. Some brothers came out to protest. He arrested 45 of them. He sent them to the military camp and said, since they have energy to protest against his command, let them be recruited in the army so that they will be sent to the war front. Let them use that energy to defend the state of Burkina Faso. This is what Africa needs. Capture these people who don't want us to progress. Engage them at strategic places. Capture most of these miracle working men of God and Dibias. Give them gun, let them go and fight. Since their Lord is a miracle worker. Give most of these daddy GOs. Give them gun, let them go to the war front and fight insurgency for us. The only thing that we make Africa free, that will transform Africa for good, will be a benevolent dictator or benevolent tyrants. The greatest problem in Africa is religion, be it Islam, be it Christianity, because these are tools of neocolonialism. They mean nothing for us. They mean no good. We must expunge democracy out of Africa. Last month, I was in Russia. I was touring about Moscow and Petersburg. I did not find anybody in Moscow that is as wretched as we are here. Everybody was leading a meaningful life. Yet they told you that democracy is the best. I went to China. I saw people who understood what it means to work in the interest of the nation. Yet somebody is telling me that democracy is the best. Now, there is a reason that I went to China. There is a reason I went to Russia. And there is a reason I am in Burkina Faso. I am observing pattern. Whomever told you that democracy is the primus inter pares, that person is a liar from the pit of hell. We need to say no to this demonstration of grace in the words of Fela Kuti, the prophet, so that we can have a rethink of how to move Africa forward. There is no way the present condition of Nigeria can be solved with democracy. I put it to you. Nigeria has decayed to the barest minimum that every sector is corrupt. The minimum wage, which the Senate passed into bill, can they accept it if it is given to them? The other day I saw them discussing. One of them is saying that the 14 million they are getting is not enough for them. But this same person that said that 14 million is not enough for him in a month had the effrontery to sign minimum wage that cannot buy one bag of rice. That is why I say the heart of man is evil. Your children is good to go abroad and study. They are doing their BSc, MSc, PhD. But we are hooligans who National Association of Nigerian Students can keep for as long as they want. And you tell me this judiciary have a vision statement that will move this country forward. I told you, the only thing that can salvage Nigeria is that many people will buy. Because this generation has eaten deep to corruption. A country whose teacher earn nothing. A country whose soldiers earn nothing. A country whose politicians and supposed lawmakers are eating in fat checks. That country can never be good. There was a country called Nigeria, created by the so-called Lord Lugard, whose mother country cannot even live in peace with their fellow Europeans, even though they are of the same stock. If staying together is so good, if amalgamation is so nice, why did Britain exit from the European Union? If amalgamation is so nice, why will Britain exit from the European Union? I thought they said they want to remain together. Why didn't they remain in the EU? Even though all of them are of the same stock, the same color, the same vision statement, Britain, you exited from the EU, but Nigeria must not disintegrate into Biafra, Odua, Arewa, so that we can have peace. If this unity is so good, why do we have a division amongst Northern Ireland and Ireland? Same Irish people, but they could not stay together. Same Irish. But if an Igbo man talks that he's being marginalized, some low life way on camera and begin to spit nonsense in the name of podcast. I saw some unrepentant saboteurs dishing out empty words in their wide gutter that the Igbos are not marginalized. If I ask this person how many federal projects are going on in the Igbo states now, he cannot mention. May we not lose ourselves in search of ourselves. Arise, he that sleepest. Awake from your slumber. I am not here to massage your ego. I am not here to say that which you will enjoy. But if Nigeria as a country, which got independent in the 1st of October 1960, is still using road for campaign, we will never be free. 1960. Look at the countries we had independence with. The likes of Singapore. And I ask you again, what did you say is the problem of the blackhead? Ndisioji. Who has bewitched your mentality? The strongest passport in the world today is Singapore, followed by Japan. Lee Kuan Yew said something. I will never allow any of you to fail this vision. I will never forget that statement. Lee Kuan Yew said, I will never allow any of you to fail this vision. Where is Lee Kuan Yew now? He's sitting with his ancestors, laying to rest as a hero. And his etudes and chronicles will be recounted in the annals of history from time immemorial. Because he saw a vision and he fought for it. But in Nigeria, we are hearing national anthem which read, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. Which labor? Which hero? Arise, O ye Africans. May we support our own. May we not allow Ibrahim Traore to fall into the hands of the fowler and the devourer. It took us years after the death of Idi Amin Daja of Uganda to know that Idi Amin was actually a saint. Now, They lied against Muammar Gaddafi. Now, we are seeing it. Now, the most recent of all prophets, Nnamdi Kanu, was telling you things that is to come. But because he was not sounding in your choice of voice, he's now languishing in Sokoto prison. You can kill a man, but you can never kill his vision. When they killed Thomas Sankara, they thought the vision to liberate Burkinabe has extinct. They never knew that reincarnation is powerful. Lo and behold, here comes the champion, the hero of my time, the number one, Ibrahim Traore. And now, you now understand when we say that our ancestors has their own ways of doing things. We will not allow that which befell on Muammar Gaddafi. Thomas Sankara. Idi Amin of Uganda. The great visions of Kwame Nkrumah. And Patrice Lumumba of Congo. To go down the drain. A man whose vision would have liberated Congo was melted with sulfuric acid. That is the extent these invaders can go. Now, Niger, Mali, and Burkinabe has formed a new alliance. And this same old cabos, this same bunch of never-do-wells in the presence of ECOWAS are threatening sanctions on the new Sahel states. ECOWAS, may you perish so that the Sahel alliance will triumph. What have we achieved with ECOWAS? What have we achieved with ECOWAS? A bunch of old puppets dancing to the tunes of the colonial masters. I call them political figureheads who cannot even demand for their right of inclusion. Sometimes you hear African presidents in the body of AU gathering under one voice. Maybe they will be like 13 and they will move up to South Korea and they will say, Africa for South Korea. What an insult. They will be like 13 presidents and head of states from Africa pitching to South Korea. Inferiority complex. If you see them in the United Nations conference, they will be fidgeting. And I ask myself, are these cowards worthy to be my leader? Bunch of blatant cowards without vision statement. They will be fidgeting. When they go to United Nations Assembly, they can't even speak their indigenous language. They will be speaking English. Xi Jinping of China will speak Chinese. Putin, Vladimir, will speak Ruski. Trump will speak English. But a president from Swahili, a sitting president in Africa that could have spoken Swahili or Yoruba or Lingala or Zulu or Ndombele or Gosan, instead of communicating in Gosan so that a translator will tell them what you have to say, you reduce yourself to a pop trying to speak their English. Unrepentant old cargoes. Political figurehead. You are seeking for appraiser from a person who is hell-bent on reducing you to a laughing stock. Of what use is African Union? Today, I exchanged 5 million naira into Burkinabe, France, and it came out only 2,028,000 francs. 5 million Nigerian naira. I exchange it to France today. 2,028,000. Shame first, where me abada. Everywhere first blow. I begin to ask myself, it be like say somebody thief from me. We have Africa Union, but we can't even transact amongst ourselves. What will it cost for us to have a rail line joining all Africa together? Why do I need a visa to visit African country? I was at the Golela border. I was going to Swaziland, Eswatini. I left South Africa. I was stamped out of South Africa. I followed through Richards Bay at Epangeni, KwaZulu Natal. I was stamped out of Africa, of South Africa. And I was told in the Swaziland border that I am a foreigner. And I looked at my brother who was calling me a foreigner. He looks just like me. A Caucasian came in. For the fact he has their citizenship, he was welcomed. But I, Mazidibia, was classified as a foreigner. The one that got me angry, he even called a South African who speaks the same isiZulu. He classified the person as a foreigner. I never knew when I shouted in Gosan language. I shouted Ngobile, 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 evil. I never knew when I shouted Unduako. Abomi Ibuike, Unduako. This is what Africa has reduced themselves to. Now we are being measured by our colonial invaders. News came out a few days ago that the military of Cameroon marched into Nigeria. No fear, nothing. I told you this country is a failed state. You think I'm joking? Anything that will salvage Africa must start with Nigeria. Burkina Faso is not more than 23 million citizens, which means the entirety of Burkina Faso is not up to the people resident in Lagos. The entirety of South Africa is 1/3 the population of Nigeria. South Africa is about 80 million citizens. Nigeria is holding about 250 million citizens. And the question becomes, don't you understand why Nigeria is an integral point in the salvation of Africa? If we are looking for intellectual profundities, those who can break protocols of propinquity to bring change, we have the technical know-how in Nigeria. Go to the UK, go to the US, go to Europe. Nigerians are topping the charts. But a doctor in Nigeria is no longer studying to practice in Nigeria. A nurse in Nigeria is no longer studying to practice in Nigeria. They are all running to a faraway land in search of greener pasture. Africa, wake up. Africa, wake up. Until we get it right, Africa will never be free. Let me give you a shocking fact. No amount of prayer will liberate Africa. If prayer can change Africa, then Paul Enenche in his glory dome would have prayed Africa out. TB Joshua would have prayed Africa out. Archbishop Benson Idahosa, Chris Oyakhilome, Oyedepo, Adeboye. But when reality hits, you will give a conference, a press conference, just like Mountain of Fire gave. Mountain of Fire said recently that they are closing down vigils for now. And they are limiting their church activity till so and so time due to the insecurity of the country. That is to say, prayer cannot solve our problem in this country. The only thing that can change Africa is all hands must be on deck. All hands must be on deck. You can't solve a local problem with a foreign solution. I repeat, you can't solve a local problem with a foreign solution. If the almighty Mountain of Fire can stop their vigil because of insecurity, that is to say, your riba basunde ya kalibrake is not enough to salvage Africa. I told you people, what you need now, this is no longer a time for peace. This is the time for war. Africa, you are at war, but it's a proxy war. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. The only thing you'll be thinking now is the security consciousness and the emancipation of mental slavery. And that is why, all ye activists, do not fight amongst ourselves. Do not fight amongst yourselves. All hand is needed on deck. Let us push this message of awakening to every tentacles. We must do the best. And the best we can do now is to arm ourselves. Death is coming. The drum of war is beating. Vengeance is not of the Lord. Vengeance is of me and you. You and I. You can't slaughter my parents. And I will tell you that vengeance is of the Lord. Vengeance is not of the Lord. Arise, he that sleepest. Awake from your slumber. Gear up. Ready, O ye soldiers. The time has come for us to come to the fullness of the knowledge of truth. Begin to unlearn that which you learned ab initio. Update yourselves. Prepare for counter-attack. The insurgents are coming. Ready your parameters. Secure your trenches. Pin down. Charge through. Advance. For if you don't, these people will decapitate you. They have no consciousness. Karma is for the weak and the gullible. Karma is for the weak and the gullible. Karma is the weak. Karma is that which the weak and the gullible comforts themselves with. I wait for no karma. Blood for blood. Eye for eye. If the insurgents come, be ready. And may your chief vindicate you. May the Kenga of Africa stand in places to bridge the gap for us. May we not lose ourselves in search of ourselves. Raising the arm as it was raised by the legendary Thomas Sankara. I bid you farewell today till we meet again. Signing out. I am still Mazidibia, the teaching magnet, the custodian of the Arofonye Pantheon. This is where we end the live stream.